What's happening, y'all? Magnificent Stan here from Sadistic Penguin Studios. I have our boy Bologna from the Chicago Sports Bombs. What's going on, Bologna?
What's going on? Dude, it's been so long since we've done a show together.
Right.
One, I've got like withdrawals going. But two, I've also got a nasty head cold. I didn't tell you guys pre-show. I don't know if I'm going to make it to WrestleMania. We all had plans to hang out for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm like congested like this. So this might be the WrestleMania content for all of us. So I'm excited to chop it up with you guys.
If it happens, it happens. You get sick. You got kids. It makes sense.
Let's do it.
All right. Also joining us, Sadistic Penguin contributor, our homie Comic Punk Guy. What's going on, bud?
Nothing. It's WrestleMania time, man. We got the last stop for WrestleMania on the road to WrestleMania was SmackDown tonight, and they were so sold out that they didn't even build their proper entrance. They're coming out of the tunnel straight because they wanted to have so many more seats available for all the people that are all excited in Philly. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a really, really good show tomorrow.
I saw the live. They did a live face-off thing earlier today.
Yeah.
Holy crap! That crowd was bonkers.
Philly crowds are awesome. I put them right up there with Chicago and Hammerstein Ballroom in New York and all of the crazy rowdy crowds. But Philly fans, for as much as we as the Chicago sports fans call them Philly scumbags, they are a really good wrestling crowd. So I'm excited to see what they bring for the next 2 days.
I think it's a lot of people have been bitching about the card. I think it's a pretty fucking good card, but
dude,
there's some gaps. There's some guys guys and gals that should have been booked, but what are you gonna do? You have 2 nights, 13 matches in 2 nights, so that's actually on the low end, for basically 8 hours or 7 hours of showtime, but that actually maybe that'll lead to just some better matches because things will just run longer. They don't have to rush anybody. But yeah, tonight we're gonna go over just the match card. We'll go match by match. I did see the rumored run for the show.
Yeah.
So what I did was I split everything into in that sequential order of what was rumored to be what's rumored to be the run of the show. So let me switch this real quick. And then let's just go. We'll just start with the first one here, which is the Raw Women's Championship, or the Women's World Championship between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Becky won the Royal Rumble, correct?
Yep.
And then Rhea's been. It'll be a year since she
Bayley won the Royal Rumble. Becky won the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, Elimination Chamber.
You're
right. There we go. We got CPG here correcting us.
So yeah, Rhea's been the champion for a year now. Seems like she's quickly becoming the face of the company. One of them, at least. It's a good face.
Yeah,
good face, good everything. If you ask the internet,
the gigantic.
Oh yeah,
I love both these two. I mean, I don't really have anything derogatory to say about either one of them. But yeah, I think these two are going to put on a show. And starting WrestleMania a lot of the years is more important or just as important as closing it out. That first spark plug is always an important match, and Ripley's going to bring it, and Lynch always does too. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think you've got Rhea Ripley and Charlotte tore it down last year. You could tell in the beginning of that match that Charlotte wasn't really in it, and all of a sudden I think she kind of finally put that ego aside and had a hell of a match with her last year. And I think that Becky as a performer is going to want to one-up Charlotte, and I think that because she's going to go in this match to pretty much give Rhea the best match that she can.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be it's going to be balls to the wall from the very beginning.
It's going to be hard hitting for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Rhea Ripley doesn't know any other speed than to go full steam. So, who you got pulling this one out?
I think it has to be Rhea. I think it's been a year. I really do think Rhea Ripley has a really good shot of being the female Hulk Hogan. And I say that not with like the shitty personality and off the field stuff. I mean, like, she could have a long career of her being the person. And I know Becky Lynch is the man, and she's been really good. And to tell you the truth, I was really excited about this. And then while the buildup was going, it kind of fell flat for a little bit. I've been watching a lot of WWE since
I
our
think a lot of us
AEW
have kind of
Playback.
switched over a little bit. Back to especially with Vince gone. I think a lot of people are
and it was falling flat. I was excited for the matchup. It was falling flat.
What's up, Joey?
And then as soon as Rhea Ripley hit the line of like, you know, Becky's daughter is gonna call me mommy, then things like turned around. I was like, holy shit. And Becky's done a couple interviews since then, and you know, quote unquote kayfabe or whatever, but like you could tell.
I'm sure Becky gave her the line.
Yeah, I mean, she gave her the line, but
Seth Rollins is a genius, so I think maybe Seth Rollins gave her the line. I don't know.
Ever since then, I feel like it ramped it up. Like it ramped it up, and now it's like, yeah, I'm excited for this. That being said, I think Becky has had her time, and although she's held the belt for a year, Rhea Ripley can hold this belt for as long as WWE wants, and maybe as long as she wants. I think she is, like you mentioned, a face of the company. There's maybe two other people that you could put their face on, you know, cups and side of trucks and everything else, and Rhea's one of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rhea wins also. I don't think they really, like, as great as Becky's already got all the accolades, winning the Elimination Chamber, just a new one. That's probably like the best one for her.
Yeah.
I don't see her beating Rhea only because Rhea is building the unbeatable, you know, and she's taking that title and kind of running with it. And she's already defeated Charlotte. She's, you know, she has to defeating Becky Lynch just adds it. If you're beating any of the horsewomen, especially in the main events of WrestleMania, you're striving out on your own in a class outside of them. With the way that the, you know, Mercedes Moné is in AEW now, so like you're not going to get that match out of her. It kind of sucks because I think Asuka might be the only person that's beaten all four of them, I think. But
well deserved.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, Rhea's just going to be unstoppable until maybe Tiffany Stratton is that person with a little bit more development, you know, and stuff like that. Liv Morgan is someone that they have waiting in the wings because, you know, she's a heel, like Rhea's a heel, but she's getting face reactions and she's getting positive reactions from the crowd all the time. Liv Morgan's primed to go heel if she hasn't already. And with their history and all that sort of stuff, that's the person you can have finally beat her with the proper build behind him. But we won't know obviously until we get there.
Yeah, for sure. I think they might end it. They might start night one off with a bang, and I'm gonna go the other way with you guys here. I'm gonna say Becky gets it, but Becky turns heel and gets it. There's got to be some type of crazy heat. Maybe Liv Morgan comes down. You think Liv Morgan's gonna schmaz on Becky, and she you know, potatoes Ripley and gets it done. So
it's possible that she's on the revenge tour. You know, that's what she's been calling everything since she's been back, but she hasn't been doing like super heelish things. She's kind of like riding that cusp right now.
Right.
That would do it. That'd push it over.
It'll be interesting. I think let's stop for 1 second though and just bask in how awesome women's wrestling is in this era. Both companies. I mean, the other one's booked very poorly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The talent in women's wrestling is better than talent in men's wrestling these days, which, you know, being, you know, in my mid 40s watching wrestling since I was 5 years old, it's kind of amazing how it's like almost like flip-flopped, because back in the day you had like Wendy Richter and the Fabulous Moolah, and there's like nothing else. So but yeah, I really do think that something weird is going to happen between these two, and I think it might just be Becky turning on the fans.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I just don't see a scenario where Rhea loses the belt when, I mean, she's been on all of the late night talk shows. She was on McAfee today. She was
getting tattooed.
She was getting tattooed.
That's pretty cool.
They just did the show in Australia where like it was basically centered around her. I think she's she's already a rocket ship, but she's on a rocket ship fast track to like, super stardom. Yeah. CPG, you mentioned how like she's a heel, but she's getting, cheered like a face. Like it really does remind me. And I just compared her earlier to Hogan, which is crazy, but it really is like early Austin or Rock in the 90s vibes where it's like she can do no wrong. She could play heel. People are going to cheer for her. And you kind of have to ride that until that ends. So I just don't see a scenario where she loses.
Apparently, the band that does her theme song is going to be there as well. So
entrance, big entrance. I like that.
That'll be cool. All right, you guys want to move to the next one?
Let's do it.
All right, next match is the I don't have an updated graphic.
What happened?
It's a six-pack challenge.
Just random guys. Who's it going to be?
So the other two teams are, I believe, shit.
It's.
I meant to grab. Oh shit! Let me. You know what? Give me 1 second here.
Experiencing technical difficulty. That's
why
doing the elevator.
All right. So as you update this, take your time. People in the comments can talk about it too. But
talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. No, I'm kidding.
It really does feel like this is the perfect scenario, and it's obvious to everyone. They're going to split the titles, right? This is the perfect scenario where there's going to be two different winners. You split the titles. Each brand has their own thing. And that probably should have happened a while ago.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that when Judgment Day won the titles back, they didn't just do it then. Because there's not like your tag team, all that stuff. There's a lot of tag teams, but there's also not a lot of like depth to them to where you want where you can continuously have different matches every week. I think the Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne is one of the teams, and the other one is I don't know. But I think like this is how you split the belts up again, or you I think before even the match even starts, they bring out the new ones and say, now this is just for one singular. There you go. Oh, that's right.
Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I was like Rolodexing in my brain trying to figure it out because I studied all these. We knew we were doing the show for goddamn weeks. And I was like, I know what's happening, but I had another show. I had another whiskey. And I was like, I don't want to say anything that's wrong. But yeah, it's Austin Theory and the other bozo.
And then the two British guys.
Yeah. CVG mentioned Pete Dunne and
I love Pete Dunne so much. Pete Dunne might be next to Chad Gable. I think Pete Dunne and Chad Gable are my two favorite WWE superstars.
Wow,
Pete Dunne's so good. That joint manipulation stuff looks gnarly, and he's so good at selling it. It's great.
Bate is hit or miss with me. I like him, but I don't like him at the same time.
His gimmick, I just don't get. Like the Mustache Mountain stuff when he was doing that, it made sense, and like his kind of just like all around British gimmick that he had when he was in NXT UK works. Now it's like he needed to find Zen, and like he's really into yoga. I'm like, so you're just telling me he beats off all the time and he's really calm. Like that's kind of like how they were kind of selling that on NXT, and I was like,
he beats off.
All right, like you found the powers of meditation. I was like, I bet you did, man. Shaking hands with Mr. Happy.
I love the thing I really love is when he puts his hand up and he punches you in the face. That's fucking great. That's like 8th grade right there.
Like you mentioned, he was great on NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I had the same conversation with someone in AEW. He needs a haircut. He doesn't look the same. Like it just like aesthetically, he's aged 10 years in like 6 months. And it's like it just doesn't work for him. So like I liked him for a long time. He just looks bad right now. So, yeah, I mean, I like both of them, but so who's winning? So
that was my
Judgment Day is not leaving with the belts.
No, I have a theory about that. I got to get to that later though. So I am going to go with my heart is with DIY. I I've loved DIY forever.
100%.
Johnny Gargano can do no wrong, and neither can Ciampa. I'm gonna go though. I'm gonna go with the Miz and R-Truth. That it's just the story was built. It's there. And something funky's gonna happen that's gonna cost Finn and Priest the belts. Whether it's what's the little guy's name that hangs out with them? JD McDonough.
Yeah,
JD McDonough.
I think McDonough's gonna fuck up or something.
Yeah. So, I think I think of like three scenarios. If they unveil new belts right away, they're going to either New Day or they're going to
fuck you, Jason. Sorry.
That they're either going to New Day or they're going to Miz and R-Truth to kind of close that Judgment Day line. If they do it to where two teams get a title belt each and they truly do split the titles again across two brands, I think the Miz and R-Truth get one, and probably A-Town Down Under takes the other. Or because DIY I think is Raw, unless there's, I don't know. The tag teams are hard.
They can always move them. That doesn't really matter anymore, does it? I thought
for sure R-Truth and Miz are winning one of them, and I thought it would be really good considering, like Triple H and Shawn Michaels are, like booking a lot of the things, that DIY finally got a WrestleMania moment. Because Ciampa and Gargano had been there for a while. They've, earned their stripes.
Oh, yeah, they've definitely earned.
But they've never made it to, like, this stage, Yeah, they killed it in NXT. They've battled through injuries, both of them. I feel like this would be a great coronation for both of them. Yeah. If they won one of the two titles. So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I had written down. So I'm all in on DIY.
A cool thing that I thought of too when I was like kind of brainstorming is there are only two teams in all these guys, all the teams that are involved in the match that have more than just two members.
Yeah,
and Big E's been off TV for forever after that injury and hasn't been back since, but he's fine. Like, he's not in the brace or anything. So I'm wondering that if it gets down to if it's new titles or something like that, and it gets down to pretty much Judgment Day and New Day, when McDonough starts to be the difference maker and starts taking out the New Day, then Big E shows up and takes them out, and then they get these kind of new. These new titles that and kind of represent that. I don't think they'd hold them very long, but they would at least it would start a new title continuity, for lack of a better term, or whatever, with them, and just continues to cement them as probably one of the greatest stables of like all time. Yeah,
it's kind of cool though the way they booked this, because you probably could see any of these. I don't know if the British guys would makes sense.
New Catch Republic, but yeah, like I don't think those guys are.
I don't even know what the name.
Yeah,
it's two
so
British
weird.
dudes. Yeah, it's almost like a forced team a little bit. But you could tell those two like working with each other. So
I also hate the A-Town Down Under thing they're running with. That's a terrible name too.
Austin Theory. I don't know, but I know he's talented. I know he's actually very talented, but they just ruined him. He needs his Dominic Mysterio moment where like something turns for him and he becomes either like the biggest heel in the business or the biggest face in the business. He's that talented, but that just
when he went like super heel and he grew his facial hair out and he was like wrecking people back when he was like United States champion, I was like, all right, now you got something here.
Now now he's got some steam,
Yeah, and then they made him into a goof like right away, and now he's with Grace Smaller, who's also a goof. And like it's kind of that arrogant, cocky heel team, but like
he kind of needs like a Damian Sandow Mizdow moment to kind of like bring him back to like the fans, if you will.
I'm surprised. Speaking of Sandow, like I'm surprised he never got caught on anywhere else. Like, he's been working for Billy Corgan for like 3 years.
That Sandow Mizdow thing worked so well, and it made everyone likable. Everyone likable, and that's where like something like Austin
it made
Theory,
Miz an even bigger heel too.
Right?
Like he grew off of it. Yeah. It was Dougie. It was gold.
Like Mizdow, or Damian Sandow though, like when he got released and he went to, I think it was Impact, and he showed up as the Kingpin, and he had like the big fur coat. I was like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he's been doing what he's been doing.
So then Bologna's got DIY. I got Miz and R-Truth. And who did you go with again, Andrew?
Miz and R-Truth, probably. Okay. I think you're going to close that Judgment Day story up. Nice.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is going to be a match that I think is this is as forced as you're going to get, which is Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio against Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Are they trying to turn Dragon Lee into Rey Mysterio?
Well, yeah, I mean,
they've force feeding it.
Yeah, they've been trying to find a Hispanic wrestler to replace Rey Mysterio as like the number one guy for so long, and they had it with Santos Escobar, and then they turned him heel. Like right. Dragon Lee, I don't think has been around long enough and is familiar enough to the WWE fans. You know, they kind of put him in NXT, put the North American title on him like right away. Then he lost it right away. Then he was on the main roster. Then he was back on NXT, and it's like, you got to make up your mind here. Santos Escobar has a great track record through NXT. He's put on phenomenal matches. The match between him and Dragon Lee at Survivor Series, I think it was awesome. I don't know if they made this tag match to protect Rey coming back from injury. I don't know really what the reasoning for it is, but I think you're going to see the changing of the masks between Mysterio and Dragon Lee, because I think that's where they're going. Is they want a top Hispanic, luchador wrestler, and Lee's good. He just needs that last personality or that last part of his gimmick to really come together to where he can connect, where like Rey was able to do that kind of more organically.
Yeah, so he needs to be personable. And I feel like the WWE for the longest time, especially with Hispanic wrestlers, has missed the mark, especially with combining both the athleticism with a strong personality that somebody can connect with. And I don't see anybody on the roster that can do that. They're force feeding Dragon Lee. And to tell you the truth, the perfect person that would be able to be the next Rey Mysterio is not on this roster.
Yeah, it's Penta.
No, it's Rey Fenix.
Rey Fenix will break his neck every 10 minutes.
But Rey Fenix is more of the mold of Rey Mysterio. I see Penta more as the Eddie Guerrero kind of heel face.
Penta would be a fucking god in the WWE.
They both would, to tell you the truth. They both would be able to do everything, and they're able to do, they'd be able to latch onto the fans and do everything that everyone else does in the ring. In terms of this,
I love Rey Fenix. I really do, but I also feel like Penta is just more stable and more reliable in the ring.
No, yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, we shouldn't veer off that far.
No,
with this,
I
but for sure. No, it's okay. I was actually going to bring up is Penta the guy that should be in that role? So it's funny that you said Phoenix, because we're together here. So
yeah, in terms of this match, it's going to come down to whatever Carlito does, whether he turns heel or, runs in or does something like that. I feel like they've been waiting. I mean, at this point, Carlito's been back for a long time, but they've been waiting to use him in such a role where I think he turns heel and cost Rey the match or something like that. Yeah,
I could definitely see that happening. I feel like this whole match was put together just because they needed something to do with what I think is the biggest heel in the business right now, which is Dominic Mysterio. He's still getting those reactions from the crowds.
Straight up heat.
And you guys, the three of us have talked about Dominic Mysterio many times, and I'm still shocked at all of this. So, and he did this. The WWE did a good job at setting it up for him, but he built that. You got to give him credit for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to give WWE credit. I think a lot of it has to do with Edge and then Finn and the Judgment Day as a whole.
Yeah.
But a lot of it does have to go to him.
Yeah.
He owns it. Like he owns
the whole prison thing is just phenomenal. It's one of the best gimmicks.
The crowd, like he's a young guy. The way he bounces back and forth with the crowd is like very professional. Like it seems like he's been doing it forever, and he's only been doing it for a couple years.
He's like his dad, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
I think someone finally asked Ray in an interview if he regretted winning the custody ladder match because of what Dominic's become. And he's like, "That's good. No one's asked you that question yet." I think with Dominic is that like the initial like turn on him the fans had was that like in ring for a guy who didn't go through NXT who probably should have, he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And then as he evolved into what he is now, he got so much better. And I don't know who his trainer is. I mean, it's probably his dad, but there's whoever it is that's working with him, day to day, whooped him into shape real quick. And as he was able to feed off of that reaction of like, nobody wants me to even be here.
Right.
He can't open his mouth without getting booed out of the building.
Just to overcome all of that too is remarkable. Yeah. I think he might one day be headlining one of these. I mean, he needs to work on it. I think he needs to work on his body a bit.
Yeah.
But everything else is there. Yeah. It's a good story, like it's a good story to tell like the guys that they're training at NXT, like work hard, come up with what you want, be yourself a little bit still, and it might work out for you.
A lot of it has to do with him having a thick skin too, because the internet and just like the general public as a whole,
I tore him apart for a year.
He could have broken him, and he just kept rolling with the punches, and he's here now.
Do you guys remember what I used to call him? I used to call him Drake LaRoche.
Oh, Jesus.
He used to be Drake LaRoche. He's only there because his old man was there. Like, that was like, they wanted to sell some masks. Like, okay, bring the kid with you.
What Dougie says, and have a famous dad. But right. If we want to talk nepotism, we could talk for hours about wrestling. That's the name of the game,
Hey, and Rey Mysterio has never been a heel, and Rey Mysterio never could have been a heel. So just what his son did was again, I'm going to use the word remarkable.
Yeah.
But who's winning this one?
I'm probably thinking that Dom finally, I think Dom gets the win either from Carlito switching over and joining El Diablo Fantasma or something. I don't know. I think that since Ray got the win last time, they'll have Dominic get the win this time, maybe pinning Ray because of whatever happens. And then WrestleMania, Ray retires, Dominic beats him there.
Yeah, I think Dom stands tall here. Yeah,
I agree with that too. Does Andrade get involved?
That's a good question. And then that could be the difference maker for like a Carlito or something like that. Is that Andrade, because he hasn't joined either side, has he?
Dougie,
that's dark, bro.
This guy's mean.
I don't know. I haven't seen that he didn't join either the LWO or El Diego Fantasma. Right?
He like brushed through them though.
Right. So they've been teasing little things, but to tell you the truth, I'm cool with Dom standing tall and maybe Carlito gets involved. Wait for Andrade for something bigger or later down the line.
I'm gonna say Dominic pins his old man and it's clean.
All right, I like that too.
I'm gonna say that, and then that'll just elevate him more to, I beat my dad. I'm the best Mysterio. Like, I think it only helps, and I think that's all Ray wants to do is help Dominic. So, yeah. All right, next match. Oos.
I'm so pumped for this.
The crowd for this match is going to be hot.
Yeah, I think Philly is going to be loud because it's been a long time coming, and you could argue it probably should have happened a long time ago. But I think it's smart that they waited until WrestleMania. It's going to be lights out.
I thought Rikishi would be like the referee or something.
Nah, I
really did.
It would.
He's been in shape. He actually looks pretty good,
man. You just gotta let him go. Don't take the shine off of them. They've earned it. You know, they've been a tag team for so long, and now they built this storyline. I'm very excited for this match. I do think Jimmy has gotten the better of Jay for a long time now, where now Jay, you know, stands tall at WrestleMania.
Jay is a superstar, man. Jay's gonna be world. Jay's
gonna
be world champion.
They really both can be, but I agree. Jay could be on a fast track for.
Jay works the crowd like nobody I've seen in a while. You know,
his entrance is insane, and like I think that with this match, like having it in Philadelphia, because it was after the Rumble where Roman won and The Rock like commended him, and the crowd turned on both of them.
Yeah.
And the crowd wasn't letting wrestlers leave, and like the Usos were the people that were outside screaming at people to get out of the way. So I think that's going to come back like on the crowd pretty hard, I think.
Yeah.
And like they're like with them, that's because their chemistry is going to be so high because they're brothers and stuff. They train together, all the whole 9 yards. This is probably going to be one of the better matches tomorrow. And like the build up for this is insane. And this, like, I think Jay is going to win, obviously, but like this propels Jay right to the Intercontinental Championship right away.
See, I thought this was going to be an Intercontinental Championship match. I thought he was going to beat Gunther. I thought they were going to surprise us all and have him beat Gunther, and then these two for the Intercontinental.
Sir, his name is Gunther.
Bro, he's from like the same town my dad was born in. I can call him whenever I want. And he's proud. He's and I forgot when I said Chad Gable and Gunther's my favorites. And you guys already knew that, I think. Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a match. What's the over under on how many super kicks?
Oh my God, that's a great
They're gonna go find whatever Young Bucks match when they play.
That's what I'm saying.
They're gonna do one more.
Let's set the line for real. Let's set the line for real so we could like bet on this, or
you want to count it tomorrow?
Drink or something. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's set the line.
Doug, let's have Dougie. We're doing a drinking game with Uso super kicks tomorrow night.
I love this. All right, so
I think that's low, Yump.
We had low. It's.
I think it's gonna be at least 26.
It's gonna be way up there.
In my head, I said 26.5 should be the line.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So 26.5, and then maybe we'll take some bets tomorrow.
I love that.
So are we all taking Jay here?
Yeah.
I think he finally, like Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy's getting the best.
Brandy, guess I'm driving home. I think you already knew that. So,
I mean, 15 is probably more reasonable, but I like that we both thought 26 and a half. I mean, they might just super kick their dicks off. I like it.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one's going to be fun, I think.
Oh man. So wait, you think it's going to be fun?
I do. I worry that Jade Cargill is going to murder someone in the ring inadvertently. It's going to happen. I hope she's been working out and working on her game, because AEW, she's just so fucking raw, man.
Yeah.
And I also feel like her involvement here, like Bianca Belair is just gonna be pushed to the back of the bus at this point. You know what I mean? Which sucks because she's really fucking good.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. The way they've been building.
And I'm sorry if I offended anybody by the back of the bus reference. That was poor choice right there. So. That
was a rough. Ooh,
yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't mean that. You know what I mean by it, though.
Dude, like Bianca Belair has been doing, like, she did the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark this week. She's been doing a bunch of different things. I think they're gonna slow build this.
She's got the reality show too.
Yeah, the reality show. I think. While you mentioned it might be fun, I think this is going to be a squash match. I think between Jade and Bianca, I think this might not last more than 10 minutes, but something in between there, something's going to happen where they're going to fast track Jade versus Bianca. I think that's what they want, maybe for SummerSlam or somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much star power. If I'm looking at it this way, the left side of the menu, and this is nothing to take away from Asuka and everything Damage Controls. They've been awesome for the better part of a year and a half.
Yeah, but I think all 6 of these women are awesome.
Yeah, but I really do think, like, Jade coming on and they gave her that fucking badass entrance, like, and everything else, like, they want to fast track this, and I think it's going to be more on it's going to be more of a squash than people think.
Okay, that's a interesting side to it. I think we all agree who's going to win this match, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely going to be Jade and
Bianca.
Yeah,
and Naomi. No, I mean, credit Naomi coming back.
The thing that sucks about this match that I don't like is that there are women's tag team championships that you can put on the line that you're not doing that. Instead, you're doing a 6-woman tag match. You have probably one of the best improved wrestlers, like female wrestlers in the world. Like Naomi was killing it in TNA.
Yeah,
they're like, and they had a very good opportunity to capitalize on that, and they didn't.
Yeah,
and it sucks to kind of see that kind of fall. Like if it was just, Bianca really doesn't need Naomi or Jade Cargill, especially if you're trying to set up Jade Cargill and Bianca in the future. This should be Asuka and Kairi against Jade and Naomi, and then have them, pull out the win here. I think that they are going to start dissolving Damage Control over time.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the first way to get Dakota out first. But it's there's so many things. Like, this match is going to be cool. I think it'll be fun and everything. I don't think it's going to be very long either.
Mm-hmm.
But it's taking away from the women's tag team championships, and it's taking away from Naomi, who really could benefit from being with Jade Cargill through this whole thing, because like Bianca doesn't need them, and they don't really need her. The two of them were truly together as a tag team.
Yeah.
So it's poor circumstances, but I think that this one will surprise some people. Jade Cargill's been in the Performance Center like every day, and doing tons of press on top of that. They're getting ready to shoot her to the moon. So have them squeak out the win here, or have them win, dominantly, and then have, Trinity or Naomi and Jade win those women's tag team titles just to start off and see where they go from there.
You can hide Jade a little bit with the tag team.
Right. She can do this to improve. Yep.
I saw an interview with her, and someone asked her if she went to the WWE because of the money. And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, the money's better, but do you know who my husband is? Do you know her husband is?
Yeah.
Brandon Phillips. He made like $75 million in Major League Baseball. So, but yeah, she talked about how she loved her time in AEW, but she's in her 30s and she didn't want to grow with a growing company. She wanted to establish with an established company. It's a smart business move for her.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the right thing to want to take the next step up, and not that I'm saying WWE or WWE is like better than AEW, but
it's the next step up logically.
It's the next, right.
No matter how much you love AEW, which I do, but
career-wise,
how much you do, it's
career-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to the next one. This is two of my favorites here. We got Sammy and sorry, Bologna, Gunther.
Thank you very much.
Guten Tag, I'm Gunther.
I'd be like, if this match happened in the 80s, he would be in lederhosen the entire time, and it would just look like fucking.
No, it's the 80s in professional wrestling, which had no filter. He would be dressed as a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like Sami Zayn would be like a sheik.
Yes.
Because they had no.
He wouldn't be a sheik. He'd be a leprechaun due to the fact he has red hair, because they were that fucking stupid back then.
Like Nikita Koloff from Minnesota showing up as
Cornette would just sit there and be like, he had all this red hair. Gotta make him a leprechaun. Like that's fucking Cornette logic all the way through.
I do like if this was like fantasy booking in the 80s, Gunther would have a valet with like a bunch of like the beers, the Steins. Like some lady would be in the later hosen. Yeah.
I would think it would be Colonel. You remember Colonel Parker? It'd be Colonel Parker, except he'd have the helmet with the spike on top.
All right, I like that too.
I'm trying to. So Gunther's been Intercontinental Champion for 662 days.
God damn.
Yeah.
So it's almost 2 years. It's a good run, man. He deserves it. The guy not only is a phenomenal in-ring worker, but he worked his ass off. His body is outstanding these days. I can't believe how like toned that guy got over a couple of years, you know?
Oh yeah.
You could respectably say Gunther and Walter are two different people.
Oh yeah.
They're completely different people.
Yeah.
So yeah, he worked his ass off. I just don't. I like Sami Zayn.
I love Sami Zayn. I've loved Sami Zayn for a long time.
I think Zayn goes over. I feel like this got fast tracked or like they rushed this. I don't think Sammy's the guy to beat the belt off of Gunther while they like built this up for, like you mentioned, 600 and something days. It's got to be something
who
bigger.
Is then?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, the build for this one was strange because it looked like Gable was gonna get his like last chance, and that he has produced the best matches with Gunther out of anyone.
Yeah.
Except for maybe
Gable
Sheamus. But like you're getting to that point where like Gable is that guy, and when Sammy wound up winning that qualifier instead, I was like, ooh, I don't think the crowd's gonna like that. And sure enough, they didn't. And they were like, why didn't JF shows up?
Nah, man, he beating Cody on Monday if that happens.
But like, you're kind of in this pickle. But then they were very smart and they attached Gable to Sammy to kind of like train him up to, hey, I've almost beaten Gunther, and you could probably do it if you listen to me. I think Gable's involved in the finish somehow that screws over Sammy, and Gunther keeps it until Jay beats him. Uso beats him because like
that would be good. Like Jay.
You can have Sammy and Chad Gable tear it up for a couple of months, and then you have Jay takes the title off of Gunther eventually.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I'm going to say Sammy wins. I think Sammy's going to take the belt, but just because I think they're going to build Gunther for going after Cody for SummerSlam. I think that's going to be the key. But yeah, I could see it go either way for sure. Bottom line, it's going to be an epic. This will be like I think this will be WrestleMania this year's Savage Steamboat.
I would say this: if Sammy beats Gunther, and it frees Gunther to be the first person to chase Cody, saying Cody wins the main event the night too, I bet you Jey Uso wins Money in the Bank then.
I like that. That makes sense.
Because there really isn't anybody then down the line,
So then officially, who are you're going Gunther, Bologna?
I am, yeah. I think he holds on to the belt. I do think this is going to be. I mean, Sammy puts on match after match after match. This is going to be physical. It's going to be athletic. It's going to be. It could steal the show. Like it could be slow.
So well with bigger guys. I can see where
it's slow. It's a slow build.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, we could all be like, "Holy shit, that was fucking awesome."
He's like, and I don't want to reference him, but it reminds me of Chris Benoit. He can go with any big guy. Like he just fits. You ever see the matches with him and Cesaro when he was still in NXT?
Oh yeah, they're phenomenal.
Oh my god, those two would murder each other. Good booking. All right. So let's go to the next one then, which is the main event of night one. The tag match. This is going to be interesting to see how people theorize this one. We got the Rock and Roman connection, and then the secret life of Seth and Cody.
Can we go to HBIC's comment? Because I love that. I mean, I think we've been both saying that forever. Now that Vince is dead, can we start pronouncing Helluva kick?
It's a hell of a kick. I think that's probably the best Vince McMahon impersonation I've ever done.
That was pretty good. But it's definitely not Helluva kick.
Helluva. Okay, so they've done a pretty good job at building this matchup.
Yeah.
It's probably the three biggest names in the business right now, and then the biggest name in the history of the business, considering what this man's been able to accomplish, The Rock. Yeah, I'll let you guys start on this one because I still have it in my booked this one in my head much.
Well, I've got like 15 different. I'm sure we all have like 15 different scenarios,
right?
And like 15 different ways this could go by. The first thing I wanted to mention, and I think it's something like for the longest time, especially when we did the AEW playbacks, we gave WWE a bunch of shit. I want to give them credit right now because they pivoted right at the right time. As soon as Cody was super hot and The Rock came back, and they could have really fucked this up. They could have really, if this was back in the Vince McMahon days, like they could have really just standed on their laurels and said, we're gonna do, Rock versus Roman, and they didn't. They listened to the crowd, they listened to all the social media and everything else, and they pivoted. And that's something the WWE doesn't really do a lot of.
No.
So
well, and
it was in a matter of like 2 weeks.
And accepting their own flaws and faults of things that they did incorrectly is not usually something that they do. The last time I remember them doing that is Daniel Bryan.
Right.
So yeah, them being able to recognize like, hey, oops, let's pivot. And they pivoted perfectly and wrote it perfectly. And I think The Rock had a lot to do with that. I think The Rock had a lot of input.
I definitely think like The Rock was like first and foremost, like the one that's either listening to the crowd or like, credit to him. He could have said no, but he's like, no, let me turn heel, like he's got all of the followers in the world and all the money in the world. And like, he's, grown past WWE, but he decided to come back and he could have easily been like, no, I'm not doing this. But the fact that he's like, yeah, let me turn heel and like, let me turn this storyline all the way around. And it's for the better.
I'm curious to see now that he's part of the TKO board. I'm curious to see if he continues to have a hand in the business. I think that might have been the plan all along, especially after they hired Nick Khan as the president of the company, because they grew up together. So like it's interesting to see where they pivot with him if he continues. I don't think he's gonna be on air or anything like that, but whether he's gonna have a hand in the business as a whole.
Yeah, I think that The Rock is the difference maker, and that like to me, there's no scenario where Roman and The Rock don't win because you need that bloodline rules thing to make the main event interesting.
Yeah,
or like more interesting due to last year.
I interesting. I didn't think that way. Actually, I'm on the other end of that.
Oh like, no, yeah, they've been building up the bloodline rules like for a while now.
I feel like they need to do something to build up for Roman Rock at some point, though.
I think that if you're gonna like, because of the bloodline rules, puts basically everything in play where anybody can show up in the match, including The Rock. The Rock could be involved in the finish of the other main event that kind of screws over Roman in it, like inadvertently, or maybe he does purposefully, and then that sets it up for SummerSlam, or they do a year build to next WrestleMania.
Yeah,
there's no title. Like Roman's at the point now where like he doesn't need a title to be in a main event of anything, and The Rock sure shit doesn't need it.
He's the new Brock Lesnar, absolutely.
Yeah, so like you don't need to do that. Yeah. I think that The Rock pins Seth Rollins. That's it. Or if you really want to scare everybody, you have Roman pin Cody, and then everyone will be like, "Oh shit," because of last year.
I think Roman fucks up. Superman punches The Rock on accident or something. They shuffle him out of the ring, and somebody gets a roll up on The Rock. I think The Rock's going to take the pin. I think that's going to build towards those two for next year.
The way they've been building up the final boss thing, I really think like it has to be like, I don't think he eats the pin. I don't think that happens whatsoever. But I do see a scenario where like, somebody fucks up, or like you mentioned the super punch thing. But
should he take the pin? Won't take the pin, or should he take the pin?
Well, I don't think they're losing.
Do you think it's good for business for him to lose on a
not yet?
On a one?
I don't think not yet.
Okay.
I don't think not yet.
Okay. I think it's like Rollins is either getting pinned by The Rock or Roman pins Cody to scare everybody. Like I don't see. I could see The Rock doing all the work on Cody, and then Roman kind of capitalizing on it and getting the pin and making The Rock look like an asshole. And then
that'd be fun.
Animosity starts to kind of grow between them.
Okay.
But because of the bloodline rules implications and what I think is going to happen, and we'll talk about that when we get to the main event of night 2, is that with the bloodline rules, Jimmy can show up, Solo can show up, Jacob Fatu, if they fucking signed him, can show up, The Rock can show up, but Cody's got his own group of people too that are all on the WrestleMania card. So you're going to have all these people together at one point, trying to make sure that it's only Roman and Cody. And the problem is that Roman is in the bloodline is assured that The Rock is on their side. And if The Rock feels a certain way because of the finish of this match and he refuses to help Roman when Roman is going to go looking for it, then that's where Cody capitalizes and wins. And that's the scenario that I see.
What if it's the other way around and Cody gets the pin on Roman and everybody freaks out and then he loses tomorrow? He loses on Sunday.
Pin 2 days in a row.
I stopped watching wrestling forever.
Really?
No, just
see, I said that last year when he lost. I'm like, fuck this company. I'm not watching again. Now we're gonna watch tomorrow.
I mean, you got in your handle. It says finishing the story is overrated. I need him to finish the goddamn story. I don't read.
It won't be done for another year.
I want this story to end. God damn it. There's only so many times I could excitedly give me the belt.
It would be funny though, wouldn't it? When you'd be like, you're like, I'm dead inside.
I'll fight Paul Levesque myself.
All right, you're gonna fight Paul. All right, and yes, Dustin does show up on night 2.
No. That'd be pretty cool. I think
that
actually
would be
AEW
cool.
would let him do that.
I think
he's going to show up with the new Sapphire. He's going to be wearing polka dots.
I think Tony Khan would let him do that. To tell you the truth.
I think night 1 Cody comes out in normal Cody gear, and I think in main event night 2 he's in the polka dots.
That'd be fun.
I'll cry.
Or the polka dots are worked into his gear somehow.
If they do any sort of big time Dusty thing, I will literally cry. I'm a sucker for that.
Get ready, dude. They're gonna, whether it's tomorrow night or Sunday.
Nah, you gotta wait for Sunday.
All right. Okay, so you guys are going Bloodline, and I'm gonna stick with my prediction. The Rock gets pissed off on night 1 and walks out after he gets pinned. What does that mean? Jesus. All right. Let's go. First match, night 2. Well, that's a hell of a way to open up the night.
Yeah.
We got Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, McIntyre all the way across the board has to win this. Rollins needs to go away for a bit and heal up and all that sort of stuff. And he'll have the excuse of the tag match the night before, especially if he gets pinned. Especially if he eats a fucking rock bottom the night before or people's elbow or whatever the hell they're going to do.
Is he not fully healed up or is he just healed up enough to work?
Yeah,
I think he's healed up enough to work. I think he needs to go away for a while. There's probably got to be a surgery or a rest or something.
I am right there with Yumper. If you could pull up Yumper's comment, I think Seth wins and Priest cashes.
That's where I was getting to. Remember when I mentioned I had a theory about the ladder match?
I think, if anything, I mean, they've been teasing, and obviously you guys have known me for enough. I'm a fucking Punk guy, and Drew's been running his mouth about CM Punk. I see a scenario where Punk causes Drew the title, and then Damian Priest cashes. Something like that. Because
I don't think Punk's going to get involved. I really don't.
He's on commentary. He's on commentary for the match, I believe, though.
Yeah,
so he's there.
They've been teasing it already. Like, he's been mentioning it, and he's like, I think Drew. I mean, and credit to Drew, he's been running hard with the anti-Punk social media stuff. So eventually, he's gonna have to get his comeuppance, or maybe not, but they're gonna have to clash. And I feel like if you see any of the Punk interviews, he's close enough or healthy enough to at least make a run in or do anything like that. But either way, even if it's not Punk, I do think, dude, Damian Priest has to cash in eventually, right? It's been forever. So I think this would be the perfect scenario. And He deserves it. I'm in.
Wouldn't it be fun if Damian Priest cashed in after Cody beats Roman? And
oh my God!
No,
I mean the world would. I would. I mean that would be Seth Rollins and Roman and Brock all over again, which I would like.
That's kind of how this match. That's kind of how I feel like this match is going to go. But I think Drew's going to take the title and be like in like a wave of euphoria, and then Priest comes down and beats him. But I think that's ultimately Priest is going to. It's a face turn.
Yeah, because if Rhea is going to turn face, you might as well turn him also, and because they're still very much doing Judgment Day.
Right.
I think if you go that route with it, you have McIntyre wins the match, Punk takes out McIntyre, and then Damian Priest runs down and catches in.
Yep.
Interesting.
That would be a hell of a way to start the Monday after WrestleMania too.
I'm hoping that they throw McIntyre through a car windshield at one point.
But it's got to be real fast.
Shout out
River.
Shout out the scapegoat.
So I think we're all in agreement. Drew's got this one. But that Priest is probably going to cash in, and yeah, and he deserves it. Priest is phenomenal.
Not only that, but there's something to be said about a good cash in. I mean, it's one of the best things in professional wrestling at this point. You know, like if you do it right, people go crazy, and I mean, we mark out for it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we must be doing something right because our viewer numbers keep going up and up on the show here. So
let's go. Hashtag WrestleMania.
All right. Next match here we got. I think this is like I need to go take a shit match.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the Profits and Lashley, honestly, because they've just been kind of pushed around a little bit and they don't know what to do with them. And I love Cross. They should just have Cross do his Jesse Ventura impersonation all the time.
Oh, it's so good.
I think Damian Cross is gonna win.
He's gonna win, and he's gonna go to his remote cabin in Minnesota, where he has somewhere upwards of 150 dogs that acknowledge him and call him the head honcho.
There's prostitutes there too, because Jesse likes prostitutes.
Karrion Kross is fucking awesome, but they have no idea what to do with them, they fucked up so bad because
they had him come out with that fucking mask and all that shit a while back, and that dominatrix shit.
The Clash at the Castle the last pay-per-view that they did in London or the UK or whatever. Roman Drew got cost the match by interference from Karrion Kross. And there was this acknowledgement between Roman and Karrion that at some point I'm going to cash in this favor that I just did for you, and you're going to give me a title match. And guess what? They never did it. And so now everyone has forgotten about it, and they've seemed to have forgotten about it. And now we're here where this is fine. The Authors of Pain being signed for like 3 years, never being on TV, and then mysteriously reappearing is weird to make this. I forgot what they're called, like Final Testament or something like that.
Yeah.
But this match just does nothing. I feel bad for the Profits because they were fucking super over as faces, and they kind of went heel with Lashley for a bit, and then they had to change because it wasn't catching on with them, and they were just they're too over as baby faces. I think with this match, it just this 2 or 3 years ago would have been a kickoff match, which I don't think they're doing those anymore. Like it would have been something that is meant to what you see as you walk into the building, because it's just nobody cares, unfortunately.
Yeah, again, it's like one of those pieced together where we don't know what to do with these guys, so we'll just throw them in a stick. And then I mean, it wouldn't be a WrestleMania without at least one of these matches.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a bathroom.
They're paying Bobby Lashley $1 billion a year. They got to put him in a WrestleMania match. Like that's.
And CPG mentioned. I mean, Karrion Kross. I feel like the WWE doesn't know what to do with it. I don't think he knows what to do with it, because I'm going to say the same thing, and it's like I'm going to be a broken record. It's the same thing I talked about Tyler Bate. He needs a haircut. Karrion Kross is much better with the bald head than whatever it is this is. Aesthetically wise and everything else. Shave his head. That's my take.
Can we also just for a second recognize Bobby Lashley looks phenomenal for being almost 50 years old.
I was gonna say that
he's like 48 or something like that.
Damian Priest is in his mid 40s also. Like
yeah,
he's
Damian Priest is sneaky old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe he was in the first All In, wasn't he? He was in like the Battle Royal.
Punishment Martinez.
Yeah, pretty funny. All right, so I mean the Profits and Lashley got to win this one, right?
Yeah.
And you could just push Cross further down the hole. Maybe he'll go back to NXT and they'll make him a champion or something. All right, next match. Let's go. Yeah. All right, we got LA Knight and AJ Styles. I haven't been able to watch the last couple of weeks because of work. They've been pushing this pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, it's so the crazy thing about this is these are two TNA guys, and the crazy thing about both of these guys' runs in TNA, they never touched each other the entire time they were there.
Well, it was different eras. By the time AJ left, Drake was just getting up there, really.
Yeah, like there was a brief time where they were together and everyone kind of wanted that match.
Yeah.
And it never happened because of like the changing of guard and between all the stuff that's going on between TNA becoming Impact, becoming Anthem, becoming Impact, becoming what it is now. So like you're getting kind of like, both these guys. I mean, AJ Styles is phenomenal no matter what. See what I did there, but like LA Knight's gotten so much better since starting off. Like I remember when I first saw Eli Drake and I was like, I don't know, whatever, and he's been able to kind of make this amalgamation of a character to and morph this into LA Knight. And then this match is going to be, I think, a lot better than some of the other ones. I think it's going to be another like surprisingly good match. And you got to, a win over AJ Styles is a win over AJ Styles. I think LA Knight needs that too because he's
he needs that more than anybody needs anything in the business right now. That guy needs a win. The reaction he gets from the crowd is phenomenal, and that's funny. I'm using the word phenomenal, but he needs the win. He doesn't. You don't say like he's gonna get. He needs it. Like he's fucking ruined if AJ Styles beats him here.
Yeah, I think it has to be LA Knight. We're gonna call WWE dumb if it's not. I thought this buildup was also a little weird up until today. I don't know if you guys saw, like they were doing like a like WrestleMania press junket or whatever, and they really went after each other. There was like no security around at all, and like they just started fighting. And then AJ Styles came out with like a bloody nose, and AJ Styles, like, I don't know if you guys know, well, he's kind of like, buttoned up. He doesn't swear. Like he's kind of
right. Like, he's very churchy.
Yeah, he's churchy.
Yep. He uses the word frick a lot.
Yeah. So he turns around. He's all bloody, and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up, motherfucker." And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Like it took until today for me to be like, "I'm all in on this match."
Yeah. And AJ Styles has not won a single match in any WrestleMania he's been in at all.
Like it was
Shinsuke lost to Jericho, the first one. He's lost to the Undertaker. He's AJ gets us.
Thank you, Dougie. AJ does get us. Yeah, so we're all in agreement. LA Knight needs to win, but it sucks that AJ is going to get. But I mean, again, AJ's pushing 50 too, so he's got to help elevate other people at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, Randy Orton. Adding Orton to this match was weird to me, but I thought that these two deserved another go around, just singles.
I think this is born. It's born out of the finish for the Elimination Chamber. But it's the triple threat was weird. I thought it was just going to be Logan Paul and Randy Orton because this goes a lot of different ways. I mean, Prime is now an exclusive sponsor for WWE. The fucking Prime bottle is going to be at the center of the ring the entire pay-per-view, I think, which sucks. But I'm thinking that if Logan Paul, like, Logan Paul's going to win this, but I think he's only going to he's winning it because he's pinning Kevin Owens. I don't think he's going to pin Randy Orton.
Yeah,
Randy Orton doesn't need to be pinned. He doesn't need to win, but he could be in the match to make Logan Paul look good and menacing, and then you have Logan Paul pins Kevin Owens off of shenanigans, or whether it's the brass knuckles or whatever, and then Orton gets the last laugh and RKOs him after the match is over, and then they fight at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think the prime sponsorship and everything else, they're already calling like Logan Paul like Mr. SummerSlam, like they're building him up to be like the main event of SummerSlam. So I just don't see a scenario where he loses the belt and Kevin Owens is there to eat the pin because they're gonna build up Orton versus Paul at SummerSlam, or at least in my mind they are.
Yeah. Can we also comment on the horrible airbrush job they did on Kevin Owens' face?
Kevin Owens,
that doesn't even look like him.
Yeah, it's weird.
He looks like a dude that hangs out at the pool hall, always wants to kick your ass.
I mean, of all of the like the slides you've shown, this is the worst one. Even Logan Paul looks terrible.
What the hell is wrong with Kevin Owens' face here?
It's like Nick Nolte playing Kevin Owens.
It's very weird. Okay, we got two more here. We got Bayley and Io Sky for the women's championship. Yeah, Bayley doesn't win this one. I'll be shocked.
If Bayley doesn't win this one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be shocked. I guess they could. They're gonna have to have at least a match or two where there's gonna be a retain. This might be the one just to kind of stretch it out a little more.
Logan Paul, Gunther.
Yeah.
I think Bayley needs this moment. She deserves this moment. I think it'll be good.
Here's what's going to happen. Damage Control is going to come out, and then Bayley's going to have in her corner the little girl from NXT who's actually a wrestler now.
Oh yeah, Izzy.
Izzy is going to show up and kick everybody's ass.
Izzy looks like she's in great shape. Like she's like I haven't seen.
She just had her first match a couple months ago.
Yeah, that would be a good feel-good story or whatever.
It won't happen. I'm just fucking around, but
that'd be awesome. If that's the case, I want the old school Bayley.
I was gonna say, are we gonna see any wacky waving inflatable arm for the 2 men?
I'm ready for the old school Bayley Sunday entrance.
I think they're gonna do something for it because they, with the full face turn, Bayley, Bayley's got to win this. It's also been really criminal. They haven't really promoted this match as someone like she won the Royal Rumble. Yeah. And she, I believe, spent more time in it than Rhea Ripley did the year before. So, because I think she won it from number 1 or something like that, or maybe 1 or 2.
2 or 3.
Yeah, something like that. And it's like the amount of when they were showing the WrestleMania graphics after Elimination Chamber, it was like Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. And I was like, Bayley won the fucking Royal Rumble, dude. Like, what the hell,
Right.
So, Bayley does this, basically it'll regulate Damage Control to be, running the tag team division. They can always run it back to at the next at Backlash or whatever, and they can trade it back or they can keep it on Bayley depending on what the reaction is. But yeah, I think Bayley's winning this one for sure.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. And Dougie, no time limit finish. It's a world championship match, so they're not going to go 60 minutes.
Read a book one time, Dougie.
All right, we got one left.
They
both look like they're pooping.
Yeah.
I need more fiber in my diet.
I don't think that Cody's nose actually looks like that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Cody looks a little weird.
Enhance.
Like that. He looks a little. There's something going on.
Look at these two. The mega powers collide.
It's Roman Reigns and a human Ken doll. Yeah. I like.
And then he shits on her, right, Yumper? He shits on him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Story for another time.
Yeah, like all right. So again, Cody,
zoom out, please.
Yeah, this is getting.
Why? I love it. It's hilarious.
This is it's unsettling to me. The closer we were getting, no, like Cody wins, right? Like you can't like
yes.
people will fucking riot if he doesn't win.
Cannot.
You can't do it 2 years in a row. If you do it 2 years in a row and you tease it for like it just
they're gonna do it for 2 more years. Yeah. WrestleMania 40 and 41, he's gonna lose at both of them, and then he's gonna win it at 42, which is gonna be in Atlanta.
And for like 43, then will be Cena and Rock thrice in a lifetime. Like it's you just don't need to have Roman win. Roman is like let Roman lose. Like just take him off the board because now Roman's at that Brock level, man, where you don't or whoever. Doug, you're gonna get us in trouble. He's at that level where he doesn't need a title. I mean, Cena got to the same point. Orton's at the same point. Any of those guys, Undertaker, they don't need titles. They just don't. The name is enough.
The one thing I hope they don't do is have this great, grand, wonderful moment of him winning the title, and then they don't give it any respect or credence by having him hold it for a little while. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the times when they build like this, Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, they did it to Chris Benoit. They did it to Eddie Guerrero. They did it, everybody, like they build Kofi Kingston lost to Brock Lesnar in like 35 seconds or something like that. They build these guys up and then they're like, just get it off him. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that he is, if he wins, you're right, Yumper. That is a bad example because he did get hurt, but I think Kofi Kingston's a perfect one. He held the title.
Big E is same deal. Like he got watched by Lesnar too. Cody winning here sets up a lot of things. Like depending on what goes on with Logan Paul and Orton, Orton can run the legacy angle because they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
The Orton Rhodes thing, they can totally go that route.
They can see if Ted DiBiase's kid can get out of jail for stealing money from the church camp again.
But you have a lot of and Gunther and all that is a lot of prospect. Gunther could beat him. He went, he was the last guy with him in the Rumble the year before, and is still,
I think they work together really well.
Yeah. But if I think that Gunther wins, if Gunther is going to be the guy that beats like Cody for a title, I don't think it's going to be as soon as SummerSlam. It's going to be like Gunther wins a Rumble next year.
Yeah, Rumble.
Something like that for WrestleMania, because like those guys were in the Royal Rumble for as long as they were. I mean, especially Gunther, and then they had a match after that, basically, where it was just back and forth the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've talked about it long and hard. Pause. I do. I mean, I'm a Cody mark at this point.
I think everybody is.
And he's got to finish the story. I do think like there's multiple ways for you to end this match and set up Cody versus a multitude of people, and even set up Roman versus Rock next year at WrestleMania. I think that's best case scenario for everyone involved. So, if Cody doesn't win, we riot.
I think he's going to be in the ring with the entire bloodline. And Jay comes out to save him, and then Jay kicks him in the face. And then Roman pins him.
Just shit on them all.
Shut the fuck up, Brian. No, I'll fucking kill you. Yeah, no, Cody's got to win. Big Stardust guy. Me too. Yeah. Me too. I love when he did like the pirouette when he'd come out.
He did it today. He did it today on the Pat McAfee show.
Hey, don't forget where you come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. With the bloodline rules and anybody that's related to the bloodline, it would be very funny if he were still alive that he gets Yokozuna like just out of nowhere. Like you got all these like bloodline members, and then I was like,
all right, we're fantasy booking dead people now. I mean,
Yoko. When Umaga's gonna come out, is that what you're telling me?
5 days of striding dust you. You start.
Holy shit! It's Peter. It's people. Peter fucking Maivia.
Yoko versus Dusty.
That guy's been dead for like 40 years.
the High Chief descends from the heavens to stop Cody Rhodes from finishing the story. Jesus Christ.
So the one question I wanted to ask you guys, and I prepared you guys for this one, is give me a man and a woman that wasn't booked on this show that should have been.
Oh, that's tough. For the women, probably Liv Morgan.
Yep.
They were really kind of pushing that, and
Well,
I think
they built up Stratton too when they didn't really do anything with her. That's
it's
kind of disappointing.
Though. I mean, they've built her up, but it's still early.
Stratton's been doing well
up,
in
Caleb?
like and she did well in the Elimination Chamber. She did well in the Rumble, but some of her like singles matches on SmackDown, there's a little bit more work to do. You know,
raw.
Hell of an athlete, but there's a little bit more, smoothing out the edges and stuff for her.
Sure.
Before that, but I think like Liv Morgan and probably Liv Morgan,
everybody's favorite angle.
All
right, sorry, I'll stop playing.
Chad Gable, probably the other one. Like
that was exactly my choices too. Gable, a guy who can put on a 30-40 minute match and just go. Why would you not book him at WrestleMania in any capacity? Like, fuck it, put him in the stupid ladder match, put him in whatever. Something. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I text you my answer at least for the men's. I really don't think anyone has had better matches in the last 4 months in WWE than Ricochet. And you could argue Ricochet has been the best wrestler in the last 5 years in all of professional wrestling. But the last 3 months, he's been putting out banger after banger after banger. He deserves to be on this card. He's a professional wrestler in all terms. Like he's awesome. The fans love him. He shows up. He just does work. And you could argue no one's more athletic than him. I just feel like it's a waste of a supreme talent if you don't have him on the card somehow. And like I know they did the what is it, the Andre Battle Royal today on
who won that, by the way?
Bronson Reed.
Oh, cool. I love him.
But Ricochet is lights out. And the fact that he's just not on this card is crazy.
Disappointing, for sure. I also think the dude from the Viking Raiders has been.
Oh yeah, him Ricochet that match.
Yeah,
Monday was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
the eyebrow erasure is real.
Yeah, I call him a poor man's Dougie Fresh.
He is a poor man's Dougie Fresh. I did enjoy when we were talking about the members of the tribe. make a difference. Fatu coming back with his 8-ball jacket. I thought only drug dealers had that jacket. But all right. Well, you guys, this was a blast. We need to do this more.
Oh yeah.
I miss this so much.
I know. I know.
Not only obviously, Playback only does NBA now, and I left because of family reasons. They're more just busy and stuff. But I do feel like there's a avenue where we could talk wrestling, and I miss it. So whenever you want to have us for
we could do this for major pay-per-views. We can do this for like All Out and SummerSlam and make a weekly show, you assholes. I don't know about that, Yumper.
That's I gotta build out a studio first, and it's I work nights, man. So it's hard for me.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think for the main pay-per-views it would be a good idea.
Cool. Well, maybe we could incorporate someone new with us every time, kind of thing, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think Dougie Fresh is itching to join us on these a little bit. But all right, cool. Well, let's wrap up here. I just want to mention Tuesday I'll be back with Drafty Pod. We're gonna do Arrested Development draft. So that'll be kind of a niche one where that show isn't as popular as other shows, but I think if you want to see like 4 grown men just giggle and shoot quotes at each other, that's going to be me and not Larry and Shankster and my buddy Kevin on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that one. Anything you want to plug, Bologna?
Same thing. Everyone, every time. I mean, Johnny was on the Drafty Pod. You guys killed it with the music thing.
That was good.
I was in the comments. I love anything music related, but yeah, it's the Bumcast every Monday night, 8 p.m. now. We talk sports. We drink whiskey. It's a fun time. We complain about Chicago
and you
sports.
Have fantastic tailgates.
Yeah, so we have Whiskey at Comiskey. That's in Lot B for White Sox games. We have one May 5th, May 11th. Oh
May 11th, yeah.
May 11th is the next one. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of the times it's because of you guys. Brian, you help us out. You get there early. Marge is a huge help. And
yeah, that's mostly Marge. She's the one that's like, I'm picking your ass up at 9. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, but CPG or Rocks and everyone else. Like it's a community effort, but it's a lot of fun. And the opening day tailgate couldn't have gone any better. And
awesome.
And we want to thank everyone. But yeah, we want to keep doing it. We're gonna keep doing it until they tell us we can't do it.
Pretty soon we're just gonna tailgate, not even go inside.
That's the plan. I'm gonna do that for a couple of them this season.
Maybe May 11th we'll do that. We got to try the pickup truck thing sometime too.
Yes, we're gonna talk about that. That's probably in the books for we're gonna test different things out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
all right. Right on CPG. Anything you want to? You got any articles wrapping up or anything?
I've got some stuff I got to be working on, but things are pretty hectic working nights and some other stuff. Yeah. So like it's going to be a while before I get back to anything that's any sort of normal. Yeah, just to keep up with the Sadistic Penguin stuff for anyone that's watching. And I got Cody's entire road to Wrestlemania. I did it.
That was awesome.
Like I banged that out in like over the course of a night of his entire run since coming back to where he's at now.
It's awesome. Yeah, keep up that kind of stuff. We love it. Yeah, definitely. If you don't subscribe to the Sadistic Penguin Studios on YouTube here, please subscribe. We're getting dangerously close to being able to do super chats and all that fun stuff. So definitely keep up with us if you can. And love everybody. Thank you all in the chat. Yumper, Bologna, or Dougie.
Yeah, that's me. You're welcome.
My wife was in there for a while. Joey P was in there. HBIC. Thank you all.
Caitlin, yeah.
Love you guys. CPG Bologna always. We'll get this in again.